He thought he'd gotten away with it. What finally exposed him wasn't a witness or a confession. It was a distant relative sending their DNA to a genealogy website. This is the story of the Golden State Killer. From the mid-1970s to the mid-1980s, California lived with a predator who kept changing names. In the Sacramento suburbs, he was the East Area rapist, a masked man who broke into homes at night, binding and assaulting victims while their families were terrorized. Later, in Southern California, he became known as the original Night Stalker, linked to a string of brutal murders in quiet middle-class neighborhoods. It took decades before investigators realized these different nicknames described the same man. DNA testing in 2001 formally linked the East Area rapist attacks to the original Night Stalker murders, confirming a single offender who had committed at least 13 murders, over 50 rapes, and more than 100 burglaries across California between 1974 and 1986. For years, that DNA sat in evidence lockers with no name attached. By the 2010s, traditional leads were exhausted. Then investigators tried something radical. They uploaded the unknown killer's DNA profile to a public genealogy database similar to what everyday people use to find relatives and build family trees. They didn't get the killer's name, but they did get distant relatives. From those matches, genealogists built out a family tree, narrowing it down branch by branch until they arrived at one man living in a suburb near Sacramento. Joseph James DeAngelo, a former police officer and Navy veteran. Surveillance teams watched him and collected DNA from something he'd thrown away, items from his trash. When they compared that sample to the old crime scene DNA, it matched. On April 24, 2018, after more than 40 years of fear, rumors, and cold files, DeAngelo was arrested outside his home and charged with multiple counts of murder and kidnapping, tied to the Golden State Killer cases. In June 2020, as part of a plea deal to avoid the death penalty, he pled guilty to 13 murders and 13 kidnappings, and admitted to many other attacks that could no longer be prosecuted because of statutes of limitations. In August 2020, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring he will die behind bars. For survivors and families, his capture didn't erase what he did. But after 4 decades, the ghost that stalked California finally had a name, a face, and an inmate number.